maybe just give us like a brief overview of like what you're up to at the moment, so based on your sort of athletic side, like, and your academic side?
So I'm actually starting my outdoor season tomorrow. Ever since mid of March, when indoor season was officially over, we've for the athletic aspect, we've gone into just prepping for outdoor, a lot of conditioning, strength training, and now we're sort of on the end of that block, and now we're going into the competition season. So that starts tomorrow, and then I'll have 6 pretty intense weeks now until the end of June, where I'll probably have a competition every weekend or even 2 in a week, in preparation for the qualifying for the Olympics, because qualifying period ends with Swiss Nationals. So that's like the first block of outdoor season. Then academically, yeah, I started my PhD in March in accounting at in the economics department at the University of Basel, and I've just been taking courses and prepping for my dissertation topic and proposal.
Fantastic. And how did you find, how did the indoor season go, and how are you feeling about the upcoming outdoor season?
My indoor season went really, really great. I opened my season faster than ever before. Season started end of January. I ran 8:25 in the second race of that competition, which my previous PR, my previous personal best was 8:37. So that was a significant drop in time, and actually surprisingly ran the European Indoor Championship qualifying standard that race, which was definitely a goal for the indoor season, but I was pleasantly surprised that it happened in the first competition. And then throughout the whole season, the season actually went really, really, really well. Constant, ran the qualifying time 4 more times during the season. Ended my national season with a 3rd place finish at indoor nationals, and was selected to represent Switzerland at the European Indoor Track and Field Championships in Poland in March. So that was super exciting. That was my first international indoor competition. Great experience. Performance, not as great, but just overall, it was a really great place to be. I was super, super happy that we were able to even have an indoor season just because of COVID. So just really thankful that it turned out really well. And since then, ever since March, it's just been a focus on outdoor, and hopefully that goes just as well.
And you mentioned obviously qualifying for the Olympics. So when's that happening again? And is this for obviously for the next Olympics? And is that kind of like your big goal at the moment?
Right. So this year, fingers crossed that they're gonna be held in Tokyo. So Olympics 2020 plus 1 this year. Obviously, like, definitely a goal. It's going to take a lot to qualify. The qualifying process is a little different to Rio 2016. So this was always the first Olympics that I was aiming to go to, and World Athletics has sort of introduced a ranking system. So you don't have to necessarily just run a qualifying standard. There's an automated qualifying standard that if you hit that, you definitely go. And all the other spots, there's 40 spots in hurdles, 3 per country, and the top 40 overall of the world rankings get to go. So whoever doesn't run the qualifying time, the automated qualifying time, gets to try to get a spot through the ranking. So yeah, it's going to take a lot to qualify, but I'm hoping that the sort of the confidence and momentum that I gained from indoor is going to translate into outdoor. Hurdles, 100-meter hurdles it's a really short competition race, and so there's just a lot of factors that play into it. So it's kind of difficult right now to see what it's going to take, and I feel like there's a lot can happen in these upcoming 6 weeks, and that's why tomorrow I'm going to run the 100-meter just to sort of like as a rust buster, sort of see where I'm at. And then starting Saturday, we're actually hosting a track meet in Basel, unfortunately without spectators, which is sort of going to be the first step into running hurdles to qualify. And honestly, every competition this season is important because of this new ranking system. I can take every competition and like build confidence and get points even just for next year. So I'm just glad we can compete, and hopefully outdoor season is going to pay off and we're just going to keep performing well.
Well, good luck with that. Sounds incredible. Maybe like for our students, if you can maybe like just share, how do you balance like such a demanding schedule? Obviously, you're doing your PhD and qualifying for the Olympics. Like, kind of, how do you manage all of that?
I started track and field really young, so I've never known anything but sort of balancing school and my hobbies. And even when track became a little more than a hobby, sort of towards the end of high school, like ISB, 12th grade, going into college, it was just important to be super organized, good at planning. I think the ISB, because of the IB program, it's intense, and so I think even just getting my school stuff sorted out almost helped structure my athletic sort of planning. So a lot of sticky notes everywhere, a lot of notes on my phone of like what to do. I don't think that personally I could just do one thing. I don't think I could just do track or just do athletics, just because I feel like hobbies are a really important outlet for my academics. And I'm really, really fortunate to have an employer right now at the university that understands and supports my second job as an athlete. So I think just sort of getting what helps me balance both is getting a system that sort of supports both of my passions with the academics and the athletics, and making sure that I don't prioritize one over the other, but I try to balance it as much as possible.
Amazing. And lastly, if you can maybe, what would you say to students who are thinking about pursuing their sporting dreams? Any advice to give them?
Yeah, so sort of what I said about like balancing your academics and athletics, just have a support system that supports your dreams. I think if you share your dreams with people and get people on board that want to see you succeed, it sort of like creates that momentum and that trust that you're not alone with this. And I think a lot of the times what's important when pursuing sporting dreams is to think long term. I think a lot of the times, even, I mean, in track even, if you have a bad season is only, I mean, indoor season was only 2.5 months out of the year, right? And sort of taking like small steps, like even now, like my indoor season, I'm taking as like a good, like I'm taking that confidence into outdoor. And then this year, I'm taking these competitions to next year. So don't thinking that it's super ultimate, that if it doesn't work out once, that it's not going to work out overall, but just sort of creating that plan of like, okay, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to be, and I'm going to give myself time to get there. And there's definitely going to be some setbacks. I mean, for me in 2018, when I ran my personal best in the 100-meter hurdles, I was like, this is great. This is a great place to be, to go to the Olympics in 2020. And then shortly after, I tore my ACL. And it was kind of like, what do I do? Right. And so that sort of shifted the way I was going to get to my goals, but I was not going to just let that take them away from me overall. So just small steps. I also did a really fun interview with my dear friend Ali Fordyce last year when we were talking to Grade 9, and we were sort of talking about goal setting. and she had some great pointers on sort of how to talk to people about what you want to achieve and taking those small steps and not being afraid to fail. So that's sort of been that. And I think that's really, really, really great advice if they can check that out. But yeah, I think I'm 23, and people are always like, oh, well, you've done this since you were 7. Like, when's your career going to be over? And at the end of the day, you need to have fun. You need to just enjoy what you're doing. And then I think nobody can tell you that your goals are unattainable or whatever. It's you gotta trust what your goals are, and you gotta work hard to get there. But as long as I have goals and I'm on my way to achieving them, hopefully only goes up from there.